Me and my brother Andrew are at Brimham Rocks, which is near Harrogate. Today we're going to have a tour round at the rocks, and then have a nosy round afterwards ourselves. You're allowed dogs here, but you must keep them on the leads. There is a small fee for car parking, but the rest of it is free. There is also a refreshment place and a gift shop there as well. So we're going to have a nosy round today and enjoy the weather before we get the rain.
They last about 30 minutes, that's the idea. So, and I do them on the hour, so you get about 6 in the day. I adapt the content to suit the group, and if they look very carefully, when there's really good sunlight or with a little torch, you can actually see all the little sparkly bits in the rocks, and that's the quartz, which is why quartz is a mineral harder than steel, and that's why it's used for millstones, hence the name millstone grit. But of course, Brimham's not just about rocks. We have fantastic views, and one of the reasons for coming into this area is to show them the views across Nidderdale and over the moors towards Matham. The dads are usually impressed when you tell them that's where the Black Sheep Brewery and the Theakston's Brewery are based. Often if they're on holiday, that's been part of the trip anyway. There are 3 famous rocks that you see in guidebooks and on postcards. And if people don't come this route, if they just stay between the car park and the information centre at Brimham House, then they actually miss the 3 most important rocks. We've just passed the Dancing Bear, which is easily recognisable. And also, from here, you can see the Druid's writing desk. Back in the 1970s, when Steven Spielberg's film came out, E.T., it suddenly became E.T. Here at Brimham, the rocks obviously don't need any work. So the main work the conservation team do is actually looking after the moorland. So it's bracken control, it's silver birch control, it's looking after the heather. It's a triple SI site, so we have to look after it, we can't neglect it. So a lot of work's been done over the last few years controlling bracken so that the bilberry and heather can prosper. You see here we have the remains of some bracken. That's been treated, but you can see now this is the bilberry. Obviously there's no fruits on at this time of year, but it's a nice sturdy plant. The bracken previously would have been 2 metres tall and probably overshadowing this all through the summer. We're coming up to the what I think is the most spectacular rock here. This is my favourite rock. And this is called the Idol. Originally it was the Druid's Idol because many years ago one of the visitors, who was a self-proclaimed rock expert, decided that all the rocks had been man-made because he thought he could see chisel marks. And in fact we know that's not true, but he did claim that Druids had actually made them, so that's why we've got some of the names. I've got the Druid link, the Druid's Idol, the Druid's Cave, the Druid's writing desk. We also have the Druid's coffin, which is really interesting. There's a good story to tell about that, which the children find particularly interesting. There's lots of stories about the idol. The man who did the water gardens at Studley was allegedly offered £1,000 for anyone who could remove the idol completely and take it to his water garden. Obviously that never happened. We tend to go this route now on the short walks. Although 30 minutes seems quite a long time, there's a lot that you really want to get into it, and we have to keep moving. I think the daymaker groups, the mini walks and talks, tend to be small groups. 6 or 8 perfect, any more than that, and just the mere fact of trying to keep together extends the time you're doing the walk. The thing about doing a 30-minute walk on the hour every hour is that if people want to ask you further questions at the end of the walk, you've still got 20 minutes or so to be able to chat to them and perhaps explain further some of the things that you've covered in the walk itself. But we come here because we're on the edge of the moor now, and certainly in the summer month when the heather's in bloom, which is usually August, it's absolutely stunning as you come out from the rocks to the more open aspect of the moor. And it's here where we can talk about conservation work that we do, because our heather was getting a bit old and it was doing them a favour because they got the moor reseeded, and that was all for nothing to the National Trust. It was paid for, I believe, by the water companies. We often get asked where the rocking stones are. Well, there are quite a number of rocking stones at Brimham Rocks, and these here are the ones that rock. It's actually really easy to be able to tell them how to get to them if they want to come back later, because just 100 yards away from us is actually the refreshment kiosk and the toilet block. So you can easily just guide people here and let them play on the rocks to the heart's content. The easiest way to show people is, while I still can, I climb up here. I mean, how many thousands of feet have been in that little slot? So you can climb up onto the rock and you can demonstrate it rocking, and also you can describe from above the Druid's coffin. Now, the reason the children are interested in this, because of the gory details, is that this is supposedly where the human sacrifices took place. And how do we know that? Well, it's the coffin shape, but also the fact that you can see a pool of water down here. Well, that was where the blood of the human sacrifice would be kept. So children really like that story, and so do I. So we've just done roughly the route that is the 30-minute mini walk and talk. We're almost back at the starting point. And of course, one of the things we do, because we're so close to the refreshment kiosk and the shop, is we can explain about the fact that the profits from the shop and the profits from the kiosk all get ploughed back into Brimham for our conservation work.
Brimham Rocks are balancing rock formations on Brimham Moor in North Yorkshire, England. The rocks stand at a height of nearly 30 feet in an area owned by the National Trust, which is part of the Niddledale area of outstanding natural beauty. The site is open all year round, typically from 8 AM until dusk. Entry is free, but car parking is charged for visitors who are not members of the National Trust. There are many variations of rock formations caused by millstone grit being eroded by water, glaciations and wind, some of which have formed amazing shapes. Many formations have been named, though imagination is required and the correct viewing angle is helpful. Examples include the Sphinx, the watchdog, the camel, the turtle and the dancing bear. The area was recognised as being a site of special scientific interest in 1958. The children's television programme Roger and the Rotten Trolls was filmed at Brimham Rocks, and the site also features in the Bee Gees video You Win Again, a scene of series 6 of Nightmare, another children's programme and adventure game show, saw Brimham Rocks used as a location, although only used once. It makes a great day out for families, climbers, walkers and those wanting to enjoy the simple pleasures of fresh air and magnificent views. The strangely shaped rock formations tower over heather moorland, offering panoramic views across Nidderdale and to the Vale of York. Today I'm here at Brimham Rocks with my brother Andrew, as he has come up from the Isle of Wight to visit everybody. So my mum and dad have gone somewhere else today because my dad's not feeling too good, so my brother Andrew said he'll bring me here today to get some nice views and some pictures. It has some lovely views here. You can see for miles, and the rock formations are amazing.
You can see up to 60 miles across Yorkshire on a clear day.
Norminster.
Some of the stone formations are massive and quite funny to look at. Some of the stones look like there's even a face, like this one here. It's got two eyes and a nose. This one's the writing desk that when we was on the tour, I think if I remember rightly, he mentioned. Some more lovely views. Can see miles over the moors. These are the rocking stones that, if you remember on the tour part of my video. time for us to get back for our evening meal. It's 3 o'clock now. By the time we get back it'll be about 4:30. I hope you've enjoyed this video as I've enjoyed my day here with my brother and his wife Sue. And once he goes home on Thursday, I shall put all the videos together. Thank you for watching.